What's going on, guys? Bruce Matson, your host of the show here, and I'm going to dig deep today, and I can't believe I got to make this video, but I know this is going to come out. Media outlets, people on social media and stuff, they're going to start making these comparisons between Justin Fields and Dwayne Haskins because they both wore a Buckeye uniform, and they're just going to compare and contrast these guys, and it's unreal. I don't think it's really necessary, but I want to put this video out before it starts happening. We're in January. We're still in the NFL playoffs. People aren't really focusing on the NFL draft right now, but I got to start now and get ahead of them before they infiltrate everybody else's brains and we get wrong information coming about this draft class and impacting what people think of Justin Fields and how he compares to Dwayne Haskins and other quarterbacks. That's why I'm here. And if that's something you're interested in, if you want to know more about these players and you play Dynasty Fantasy Football or you love the NFL Draft or regular Fantasy Football, then I'm your guy. You might as well hit that subscribe button because I'm going to do my best to make sure you're at your best. And that's what I'm here for. Make sure you give me that like. Help me out in the algorithm. Let me get some views. Don't hide me because I'm ready. I'm ready to go, and I got smoke for days, son. But first off, we got Dwayne Haskins, Justin Fields. Two very different players with a little bit of similarities. First off, obviously, both played for Ohio State, both big quarterbacks. Both quarterbacks have a strong arm, and that's about where the similarities really end. I think the one negative in Justin Fields' game that I've caught over this time watching film, watching the games. I'm a Ohio State fan, I'm not going to lie. So I'm the one who's really going to cut you straight on this. But the biggest red flag, which is kind of minute because it only showed up in a couple games, is Justin Fields' mental processing going from read to read. And it wasn't very consistent. Like, he was so consistently good that you barely saw this red flag. But it was like one of the few that showed up. But he does have issues going from his first read to his second, third, going through his progressions. But it's not like a consistent issue. Like, he's so good. Like, you have to look. You have to put on a monocle. You have to put on a microglass or whatever you want to call that to be able to find it. You're looking through cells. You got looking through cells, small ants, objects, trying to find red flags. But that's one of them, but it's not really a red flag. It's more like a invisible red flag. It's there, but he's done so many good things. He's shown that he can go through his progressions too. Dwayne Haskins, major red flag was that. And this red flag for Dwayne Haskins, though, was just painted all over the place. And you could see that easily on the field, easily on his college tape, and immediately at the NFL level. His ability to survey the field, think things through, was a lot slower compared to Justin Fields. Justin Fields' worst trait is probably that, but Justin Fields is up here where Dwayne Haskins is down here. So really they're different. They're not really the same there, but I gotta give you something. But if anything, that's where but this is where the train stops. Justin Fields is more accurate. Justin Fields is more mobile. Justin Fields has more leadership capabilities. He is the main reason why we got Big Ten football. We probably would have got it either way. Once conference play started happening with other conferences, and they would have got played out anyways. Justin Fields was a highly touted recruit, like one of the highest touted recruits ever coming out of high school football behind Trevor Lawrence. And his athleticism is elite level. His size adjusted speed. We're talking a quarterback who's around 225, 230 that can run around probably high 4.4s to the 4.6 range. And we're talking about Dwayne Haskins, who runs a 5. They are not comparable from a mobility aspect. Justin Fields smokes him in rushing yards. Dwayne Haskins is pretty much another Drew Bledsoe with horrific progressions, reading the field, accuracy. He looked good at Ohio State. He threw 50 touchdowns that one season. Balled out. But if you watch the tape from back then, you would notice that he'd stick on his read. If that first read wasn't open, that's when he would struggle. He would struggle with placement as well. Justin Fields doesn't. Justin Fields is probably one of the better quarterbacks to come out in a while. And I say this every year, it feels like about quarterbacks. He's better than Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow was on Ohio State this year, Joe Burrow would be sitting the bench. I don't want to dig so bad into Haskins that he was such a horrific prospect coming out, because he did get drafted in the first round. He did have some good tendencies or some good traits with his size and his arm, but there's different levels to this game. You have a good quarterback who's a developmental prospect still, who is productive at the collegiate level, and for one season, Dwayne Haskins. And then you got this all-world talent coming out of high school, 5-star recruit, pretty much broke the recruiting system with Trevor Lawrence, played for Georgia, kind of did well there, but Kirby Smart didn't do a smart move there and let him leave, go to Ohio State, and he blows it up in the Big Ten. 2 good seasons. He only has a couple bad games on his plate, on his resume, and there's just different levels here. These are different caliber players. Justin Fields is not really a developmental prospect. Justin Fields is NFL ready. He's ready to start for an NFL team, and there may be a little bit of growing pains in the start of his career, like many rookies. Like that's obvious. I'm not dissing him at all because he's elite level prospect, but there could be some bumps. I mean, he's a rookie, but compared to Haskins, he's like a million times better. Just his ability to move out of the pocket, hit throws on the run, his ability to just come out in big games, put the team on his back, and his ability to just throw in tight windows. And he can work through his progressions. He just has times where, like, mental processing, the computer just sticks for a second. Or there'd be times with the pocket's breaking down and he tries to force plays and plays hero ball. But a lot of young quarterbacks do that. Trevor Lawrence doesn't have a perfect resume or perfect. He hasn't been perfect on every play. So we can't expect that with Justin Fields either. But Dwayne Haskins had a lot more blips on the radar. Dwayne Haskins' inefficiencies on tape showed up a lot more. He looked good on film through the scouting process, but those are major red flags. A lot of people didn't catch on them. A lot of people was really hoping for him to take a leap at the NFL. It didn't. He washed out quick. Justin Fields is not going to wash out quick. He is going to transition pretty well, and I just can't see a scenario where he busts. He could bust, and if that is, something off would have to happen. But these two are two totally different players. There aren't very many comparison traits between the two. Size, arm strength, but Justin Fields has a lot stronger arm. Justin Fields can throw more ropes. He can sling it. He can throw on the run. Dwayne Haskins has a strong arm. Justin Fields is a lot stronger. So that's really not compared. These two quarterbacks can't compare. It's just a lazy comparison people will do because they'll look at the bad games of Justin Fields and think, that looks like Dwayne Haskins. That's what I saw in Washington. That's what I saw on the bad tape at Ohio State. But there's so much good film on Justin Fields. He only has just a couple bad games. And in those bad games, there are just a few bad plays. And that's going to happen for any good prospect, from Peyton Manning, Trevor Lawrence, to Tagovailoa, Joe Burrow. It's just part of the process. That's part of taking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of snaps at the college level. It happens. Justin Fields, another world compared to Dwayne Haskins. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. If this is something you're interested in and you loved, I got more coming at you. So you better hit that subscribe button, hit that like, and I'll catch you next time.